Shavuot Tov. Hope you had a good week. I hope you enjoyed the first week learning of the program. This is going to conclude the first week of learning. I'm going to give a brief summary of what we did last week and then talk about what we're going to be doing this coming week. So just a few minutes overview of last week's stuff and then introduction to this week's. Just a side point this year should be Le'ilui Nishmas Talia Lemkus, who was an Israeli woman who was just killed a few hours ago nearby Shiur. This year it should be Le'ilui Nishmasa. Okay, so we focused on three more types of questions that the Gemara asks on the Mishnah. Again, we're starting from the beginning. We're trying to work out what the Gemara does, and we talked last year about how the Gemara analyzes the Mishnah, and this is going to conclude that section, talk about a few more ways the Gemara analyzes the Mishnah. We're going to conclude this section, and then I'm going to introduce the next section of what we're going to be doing for this coming week. We said that there are three types that we looked in this last source sheet. There are three further types of questions the Gemara asks on the Mishnah. First of all, the Gemara will ask to clarify a Mishnah. There will be a word or a phrase in the Mishnah which isn't clear, and the Gemara will ask, what does this mean? And we'll discuss what that phrase means. A second type of question the Gemara will ask on the Mishnah is it will challenge the Mishnah. It will say, you've made this certain point, but it doesn't seem to make any sense. It doesn't seem to fit logically. It doesn't seem to flow. The first half of the Mishnah, the second half of the Mishnah seem to contradict each other. It will challenge the Mishnah. So first we had the Gemara will attempt to clarify what does a Mishnah mean. It's unclear, it's ambiguous. The second type of question is when the Gemara asks, the Mishnah doesn't seem to make any sense, it challenges the Mishnah. The third type of question the Gemara asks is when the Gemara seeks to make maybe less of a question, but just a form of analysis the Gemara has in the Mishnah, is the Gemara seeks to qualify something said in the Mishnah. The Mishnah will say a certain din, and the Gemara will say, yes, that's true, but only in certain cases. So, and the Gemara will say, that din's only true, but under certain circumstances. So this is three further ways the Gemara analyzes the Mishnah. There's clarification, it clarifies what does the Mishnah mean when it's ambiguous. It challenges, it says surely this Mishnah doesn't flow, doesn't make sense. And also it qualifies, it says this din only applies. The Mishnah doesn't mean this applies in all cases, it only applies in certain cases. Now, just to link back this section with what we did last week. Last week we talked about how we have the Mishnah and there can be questions that are asked backwards, sideways, and forwards. Backwards looking for a source, sideways a contradiction, and forwards looking to a new din. The questions we're asking now are, so to speak, within the Mishnah, rather than talking about questions going backwards and sideways and forwards. This is, in a sense, before we even get to that stage of asking for a source, or making a comparison to another Mishnah, or talking about a new case, first you actually need to understand the Mishnah itself. What did the Mishnah mean? That's clarification. Challenge, if the Mishnah doesn't make any sense, we have to try and work out how the Mishnah can make sense. We have to work out, does this rule apply in all cases? Only once we've understood this Mishnah can we then go on and do the backwards, sideways, forwards. So in a sense, maybe I should have done the questions the other way around, done the second source sheet first. But either way, just so we can have a clear picture, and this maybe summarizes and concludes off the first part of our learning in understanding what the Gemara does. When the Gemara analyzes a Mishnah, there are two different types of questions. There's the questions within the Mishnah, that's what we did in the second source sheet, and there's the questions kind of going backwards and sideways and forwards, that's what we did last week. This concludes the first part of our learning to help us understand how a Gemara analyzes the Mishnah. What we're now going to do this second week, and that's what you're going to start this evening on this third source sheet, is to understand what the Gemara does beyond analyzing the Mishnah. What is the rest of the Gemara? The Gemara is a very big work, there's a lot there. It's not just asking questions, like we've said, asking questions on a Mishnah, asking questions backwards, sideways, forwards. What is the rest of the Gemara? That's what we're going to be focusing on this third source sheet. Just by the way, from now on, the way we're going to do the learning is that I'm going to give one source sheet which will last for both Monday night and Wednesday night's learning, and then have this shiur, this sikkum, an introduction on Monday, but it's not going to be a shiur after every source sheet, but the source sheet will be enough for 2 nights of learning, and then to have a video summary and introduction at the end of that. Please be in touch with me if you have any questions, or even just, it'd be great to get to know you beyond seeing a small camera which is representative of you. If you could send me an email or message me on Facebook, etc., it would be great to get to know you, as well as if you have any questions, please don't hesitate to get in touch. I hope the learning goes well, and of course we should hear B'surat Tovot. Shavuot Tov.